Westport and Bitumen, Pennsylvania, past, present, and future. The present villages of Westport and Bitumen were once highly prosperous towns filled with industry and a plethora of people. Westport is located 6 miles west of the town of Renovo at the confluence of the West Branch of the Susquehanna River and Kettle Creek. Westport was named on October 22, 1850 by the postmaster, Mr. Butler. Before Westport even had its name, it was inhabited by a man named Richard Gilmore. He had a simple settlement and did little with his land other than living there. The land in Gilmore's possession was eventually deeded to a Revolutionary soldier by the name of James Caldwell on January 3, 1796. Caldwell moved to the area that is now Westport in 1807. The official date of establishment is 1875. An interesting fact involving the Civil War is that some houses provided shelter for runaway slaves for the Underground Railroad. During that era, Westport became the region's commercial, financial, and industrial center, with multiple milling operations, a railroad freight and passenger station, several blacksmith shops, stores, churches, school, etc.
Oh, there was lots of houses, and a lot of them were torn down. There was a store. By the bridge there was a gas station. And a man from Renovo owned it, but some people from Westport and Waltons were their names. They ran it for them and that. And then there was a post office, and there was a big station.
It was and is a breathtakingly beautiful area filled with abundant wildlife. Bitumen is located up Bitumen Mountain on the western side of Kettle Creek. Bitumen was settled around 1860 when bituminous coal was discovered in the area. Soon after the coal's discovery, in 1874, Kettle Creek Mining Company was founded. In 1880, civil engineer George L. Miller and another man by the name of Joseph Higgins headed the mining project. The mining industry created a large yet tightly knit community. Daily life in Westport was simple yet fulfilling. The lumbering business was slow to catch on and never really picked up, but farming and mining were prosperous occupations in Westport. The railroad played a key role as well as being an important means for transportation. The Westport School, Church, and the Inn, whose name has changed quite a bit over the years, provided places of learning and fun. One old store sold all kinds of goods, anything you could think of. There was even a bike track on the western side of the creek. Bitumen prospered as long as miners were needed to mine coal. The houses on Bitumen were factory houses built for the sole purpose of the miners. In 1888, a lot of miners left due to a mining explosion, but another mine was opened and Bitumen prospered again. Wage disputes caused a lot of problems with the mining administration, and the mining industry eventually ended for good in 1929. Back in the day, Bitumen had a theater, dance halls, streetlights, social clubs, a company store, a few churches, public and parochial schools, and even a doctor's office. A Slovak Union was organized in 1896. From this, the Immaculate Conception Church was established. The Swedish Congregational Church was constructed in 1898. One notable family in Westport was the Clendenins. The patriarch of the family, Nelson Place Clendenin, was the third blacksmith to occupy the property. Presently, the Krebs family resides there, being its fourth owner. The family consisted of Nelson, the father, Sarah, the mother, and their 5 daughters, who all became professionals, 2 with advanced degrees from Ivy League universities. Mrs. Clendenin died giving birth to a daughter named in her honor. The infant died a year after her mother's death. Civil War Colonel A.C. Noyes lived in the town of Westport on his estate at the mouth of Kettle Creek along the Susquehanna. Noyes Township was named in his honor. Once prosperous and beautiful, the Noyes estate is now a pile of rubble engulfed by weeds. Noyes was also friends with President Ulysses S. Grant. They became friends during the Civil War, and after peace was established, Grant would visit Colonel Noyes via railroad in his own personal rail car and siding. In the 1930s, Westport had its own Civilian Conservation Corps camp, Civilian Conservation Corps Company 2327, Camp S-122. The camp personnel took part in mostly forestry and construction work, but were involved in creating a recreational park along Kettle Creek that is now known as the Lover Campground at Kettle Creek State Park. Before this, the camp was flooded on March 17, 1936, and the camp personnel heroically helped the townspeople of Westport through this disaster. Over the years, there has been approximately 30 floods in this area since the 1600s. Some truly notable floods include the September 28, 1861 flood that caused bodies to rise from their graves and float downstream out of the Cinemahoning cemeteries. 2 St. Patrick's Day floods, one in 1865 and the one the CCC was involved in, The 1972 flood from the tropical storm Agnes had dumped nearly 30 trillion gallons of water into the Susquehanna River basin, and the 2004 flood, courtesy of Hurricane Ivan, that flooded a great deal of rivers and streams all over the state, including the Susquehanna and Kettle Creek. One unfortunate byproduct of bituminous coal mining is the acid mine drainage in Kettle Creek and other tributaries in the region. The AMD has rendered a lot of sections of Kettle Creek void of life because of the high acidity, low pH, and high concentrations of aluminum and iron. The Kettle Creek watershed is working to improve streams and aquatic habitats. With early success, fish are already returning to Lower Kettle Creek. The decline of Westport and Bitumen was a domino effect of sorts. As the mining and lumbering industry declined, the railroad populations decreased because of the lack of industry, and when the Great Depression rolled in, the populations in Westport, Bitumen, and Renovo decreased even more because people had to leave to find jobs. Presently, Westport is a quiet little village with about 60 people residing there. The only real business in Westport is the Kettle Creek Inn, a small restaurant and motel with good food and hospitality. Bitumen has only about 10 people living there year-round. Population was not the only thing that decreased. All the buildings that once were are now simply gone, thanks to neglect and the evaporative powers of time. Bitumen once had a population of over 1,000 people living there in its heyday, and Westport once had a population of several hundred. The only population increases Bitumen and Westport see now are the fishermen and hunters that visit for their respective seasons. With the loss of population came a lowered initiative to keep Westport in top condition. The Westport Revitalization Project, headed by Jeffrey and Barbara Krebs, has cleaned up and restored a number of properties, including the Glendenning home in which they reside. Barbara Krebs is known for pushing actions at the Noyes Township meetings and is truly adamant about the revitalization cause. For the future, what is hoped for and what is needed go hand in hand. Both Westport and Bitumen, as well as Renovo, need to undergo renovations in order to increase the appeal of tourism to support the Pennsylvania Wilds Initiative. If the top half of Clinton County doesn't increase its revenue inflow, we'll be left with far fewer people and even fewer jobs. Westport, Bitumen, and Renovo will become only a memory, and we cannot allow this to happen. Although it will be a process involving a lot of hard work and dedication, if the community works together, what can be accomplished is limitless.